Going to move along now. This is a semifinal event. There will be two semifinal events here in the division of Mod 5, Modified 5. About 90 horsepower in those engines out on the track right now. And they will take 3 winners from each of these 2 heats to give us the 6 men who will then advance to the finals. But we'll show you what it looks like in the semifinal event. Such people out there right now as number 71, Don Drews of O'Connell Falls on a Polaris. Bill Matson from Negaunee, Michigan. Dan Oberg, number 740. Peterson, number 691 from Superior, Wisconsin. Number 204, Dennis Bakke. Number 31, Bob Eastman. Number 4444, Dwayne Eck. Number 2920, Hanson, Duluth. Number 91, Riders of Greenfield. Number 2785, John Hayden of St. Paul. Number 811, Tom Pedersen of Anoka, Minnesota. And number 32, Ed Shubitsky of Duluth, Minnesota. Those are the men who have qualified in the semifinals. And now they will have 6 men out there and take 3 of these and advance them to the semifinals. Drews, Dennis Bakke, Dan Oberg are all in this particular heat. And everybody's going around negotiating their first turn. They have just groomed the track once again, so may have smoothed it out somewhat. And we're coming around to complete lap number 1. Let's see as they go by. Dan Oberg, number 740, is in first place. Don Drews of O'Connell Falls is in second place right now in a Polaris. And a couple of boys riding up a little bit high. One spun out down there, but he's back on the track. Coming around now to complete lap number 2. This is a semifinal event in Mod 5. Don Drews in second place. Number 811, Tom Pedersen of Anoka, Minnesota on a Polaris riding in second. There's one into the wall. Oh, he rode it very nicely. Rode it very nicely, came right back off that high fence. Number 91, that's a Riders. R-Y-D-E-R of Greenfield, Wisconsin. Dan Oberg, number 740 in first. Don Drews, in second place. That's the way they're running right now. This is a semifinal event, remember. The top 3 men from this heat will advance to the finals. Round we go. This is the 4th lap. Dan Oberg first, Don Drews second. Riding in third place right now is Ed Shubitsky on that Skidoo from Duluth, Minnesota. No change. Everybody seems to be negotiating the turns all right. Show you how rough these machines really are. This 90 horsepower and more out there. They just groomed the corners, and already after 5 laps are developing holes. It really tears this course apart. It's a well-groomed course, too. But these machines are big and powerful. They come off of those turns, they dig right in. No change in the leadership now. Dan Oberg on that Skidoo in first. Don Drews on that Polaris in second, trying to close the gap a little bit, but Oberg still has a slight lead. That's the 6th lap being completed right now. We keep our eyes on the corners because that's where the action takes place. Dennis Bakke on that Arctic Cat now moved into 4th position. A couple of machines have dropped by the wayside. Coming up to lap number 8 now, last lap. 1 more lap to go. White flag is out for Dan Oberg on that Skidoo 740. Don Drews on that Polaris riding number 2. Ed Shubitsky, number 32, going by in 3rd place, checks the white flag. And Dennis Bakke on that Arctic Cat in 4th place. Remember now, they're just going to take the top 3 from this heat and advance to the finals. They will have another semifinal event and the finals in Modified 5. Checkered flag going now for Dan Oberg, number 740. Checkered flag for Don Drews of O'Connell Falls on that Polaris. Who will be the 3rd man? It looks like it'll be number 32. He's having an engine problem. Can he get it across? He does. Ed Shubitsky of Duluth, Minnesota, and that Skidoo looked like he's having a little bit of an engine problem, but had enough of a lead to carry him through into the 3rd position, which will then qualify him for the finals in Modified 5. That's our first semifinal event in Modified 5. We'll have another semifinal event here in just a moment. Right now we're talking with John Hull, president of the USSA. And John, as we were talking prior to the start of the festivities here at Eagle River, you had mentioned that several things have been recommended, some things have been changed as far as race rules. Maybe we could start out by talking or having you explain exactly what's happening now in the powder puff and in the junior race circuit.
Right. Well, we had a fatality, our first one in 300 races. We don't take this as the law of averages catching up with us. We're doing something about it. We want to reevaluate junior classes and women's classes from the age limitations all the way up to the CC limitations. So until that reevaluation is made, we will require 10 feet of track per machine rather than the regular 5 feet. In other words, a 50-foot track can only hold 5 machines in the junior and women's class now, where in the past it held 10.
Okay, John, also now you mentioned a couple of changes regarding fuel and the Modified 5 division. You might want to highlight those.
Right. Well, the Modified 5 division is going to be given notice that it will go out in 1973. That's the 2-year notification to the manufacturer so they can clean up their stocks. Fuel is out for good next year. We know it's dangerous from a fire hazard, but it's more difficult for the individual to try and compete with a factory driver when he has all the technology, financial help, and so forth that is required to get the proper fuel mixture in these engines.
Now, we've heard comments on the race circuit this year regarding the factory manufacturing team versus the average guy who can't buy that machine. I understand that something may be developing along this line.
Well, as you know, Bob, a year ago, we gave the manufacturers a proposed Grand Prix circuit for factory machines only, 5 classes, modified, anything goes, they could run fuel. We sent it to the 22 major manufacturers. We got a reply from 5 of them, 4 negative and 1 positive. We have sent this to the manufacturers and told them that the resentment of factory competition against the individual is growing, and to please reconsider the Grand Prix circuit. If not, we'll have to take some steps of our own.
Is it possible, John, that the stock division might become the so-called amateur?
Yes, that's another thing we want to do, Bob. We want to de-emphasize money in stock classes. We want the sponsors to cut down the initial entry fee and to go to trophies only so that we can establish stock as an amateur class.
I know that the USSA and everybody that's involved in snowmobiling is very safety conscious. I understand something may be coming up in the area of physicals.
Right, physicals too, Bob. We require physicals of drivers in 4 and 5 this year, also licenses. Next year, every competitor in the USSA will have to have a physical examination before he can compete. It's natural. It should have been a long time ago. You have to do it to play basketball or anything in high school, and this is certainly a rugged sport that requires physical fitness.
John, at this point in the race circuit, as far as you are concerned and the USSA, are you satisfied with the way things have been going this year?
Well, other than the fatality, which we've been avoiding for 6 years, I know I'm not satisfied. I'm never satisfied, Bob. I think there's more room for safety, and there's going to be a lot of tracks next year that won't be able to have the big machines. We're going to get a little bit stricter on our regulations on retaining walls and width of tracks and everything. So there are going to be a few out. There's going to be some people mad at us, but our first obligation is to our members, and those are competitors.
One final question, John. What about the World Series this year? Is it planned, and where would it be held?
Well, you see the patch on the front of me here, Bob. That's Boonville, New York. It's between Utica and Rome, and it will be held there on the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of March.
Real good. Well, John, once again, thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. And again, our thanks, too, to you and the rest of members of the USSA for helping make our job a little bit easier.
Thank you.
We're going to move